a record of this. All right. Thank you guys for coming in tonight. My name is James from Varsity Unlimited Tutors. I'm working with Delight, who's going to be lecturing with us tonight. I just wanted to highlight a few things before we start our lecture so that we can just go over maybe some housekeeping issues and also share some information that might be useful to you as students. So us as Varsity Unlimited Tutors, we are a consultancy company, an academic consultancy company, which assists students with tutorials and with research. So research is one of our specialties. So what we do is we can offer a student tutorials in terms of how do you do your research, or we can be your partner if you want someone to partner you in your research, to assist you here and there when you're struggling with your research, when you're doing your research. So we assist all different types of students. We assist you at report level. If you're doing, maybe it's a capstone project, maybe it's an honors report, or at master's level, if you're doing your MCOM, your MBA, etc., and also at PhD level, if you're doing your thesis at PhD level, we are able to assist you. So what we want to do with this specific class is we want to offer some group classes or some group lectures where we go together as a group through the whole research process, because I understand a number of you have registered with Mancosa for your honors and for your master's dissertations and research. So we want to go through the whole process. Now, the research process, normally, it goes from topic, proposal, and then the dissertation. So we will go through the whole research process with you. So while we're in class, we'll tell you, you need to do this, you need to do this, and you need to do this, and then you can go and practically implement that into your own research, so as to smoothen the research process for you. Now, because of course, some of you might not know us, some of you might not have worked with us before, that is the reason why this lecture is for free, so that you can also interact with us and see the delivery model that we are going to use and see if it's something that would be of interest to you as a researcher or it's not. So in terms of the costing after today's lecture, the lectures where we are going to proceed from next week, etc., there will be a small cost to it for those that are interested. What we usually do, it's going to cost you around 500 Rand for each stage that we complete. For example, the first stage will be the proposal. So it will be around 500 Rand for the first stage. So if you want to come and you say, look, I'm struggling with my proposal, I need help, you can come through the lectures. We can go through the lectures for the proposal stage. Once we are done with the proposal, we go into the dissertation. The dissertation is around 5 stages from your chapter 1 up to your chapter 5. So it's again the same thing. So you will just be paying for the specific stage that you want. So if you are interested in coming in for chapter 1, you just pay the 500 for the chapter 1. If you are interested, you say, look, I just want chapter 4 and chapter 5. You just come in for those specific chapters that you are interested in. We will advise in the group the specific dates or specific weeks where we are doing specific chapters, so that you can choose what you want to do, and then we can try to assist you. Then if you want the whole package and you say, look, I want to do everything, of course, I will try to discount a little bit for you, but you can talk to me on WhatsApp so that I can come up with a little discount for you if you're saying I want the whole process to go through the whole process from beginning to the end. But in short, it's around 500 for each specific stage that we go. That is 500 for the proposal, then for chapter 1, for chapter 2, for chapter 3, for chapter 4, until we are done. Then for today, we are going to do the first part, which is the topic formulation and the objectives, which we are highlighted is going to be for free. That is what we are going to be doing today. So Delight will go through the topic with you guys. We'll go through the objectives, how you can formulate a topic, how you can formulate objectives, and etc. Then for those of you that are interested, I will send a link of the video in the group. I will also send the banking details in the group and any other information that you might need from me. Then after this lecture is completed, if you have specific questions, whether the questions are directed towards me or they are directed towards the lecturer, your professor, it's up to you. You can ask those questions. We will answer them for you. Professor, are you there?
Oh, thanks so much. Thanks so much. All right. Okay, very good evening to you all. Some of you have worked together before, maybe some of you are new to us. All right, but basically what we'll be doing this evening, without wasting much of your time, is just help each other, like James has just highlighted, on how we can go about it with topic formulation, and also setting up research objectives that really can take us through the entire research process. So I thought this, we can do it for you because this is the most important part, which actually determines your success or the success of your project from the beginning to the end. So I would like to just highlight these few things with you. I don't know if you can see the screen that I'm sharing, but I would like to share this screen with you. All right, so this is just a small template that we will be following basically as far as the first section, which is this proposal section, is concerned. So basically we do have the section which says preliminary research topic, which is the research topic that you're supposed to be following. Then we also do have the problem statement, or what we normally call the research problem, which is also a very important part, which also influences the success of your research project or failure. Then we also do have the research questions and also what we call research objectives. These are also one and the same thing. As we will be going through the module, we will be talking about that. But basically, what we want to do basically tonight is that we talk about the topic. So when we talk about the topic, I want you to understand something here, which is the same which we wrote here, the title, that your topic is supposed to include the organization or the site where the research is going to be conducted. That's one of the first things that you're supposed to have. Let's say you want to do an honors report, maybe you want to do a master's dissertation, or perhaps a thesis. You really need to focus to dwell or to narrow down your topic to a specific organization or a specific site. What we mean is you have to select what we normally call a case study organization, which is where exactly you will be conducting the study. So sometimes this can be a single organization or a number of organizations, or actually an area. Let's say you want to do the study in Gauteng, or perhaps you want to do it in Northern Cape, or perhaps in whatever Northwest, I don't know. So it can be even a country, or it can be even the entire continent of Africa. So basically, but what is important here is for you to specify to us where is the site, or which are the organizations, or which is the organization, right? So in your topic also, we expect you to clarify the what aspect and what we call the how aspect, and also what we call the research variables. All right, for an instance, let's work with this topic, which says investigating the effect of COVID-19 on employee performance at Standard Bank, right? I want you to see something. I have highlighted in bold here the word investigating, because your topic is supposed to specify what are you doing. That's the what aspect that we mean here. Investigating, that's what we are doing. Some, they say they don't want to investigate. Some can simply say they want to analyze. So that's the what aspect. Some can say no, they want to explore. That's the what aspect. So this wording is important for you to specify to us, what are you really doing? Is it an investigation? Is it an analysis? Is it maybe, I don't know what you want to call it, right? Maybe it's an exploration. So basically we need this wording, right? Which is very important for us. It's supposed to be part of your title to tell us what you're going to do, right? Then the how part tells us how are you going to do this. So normally we use this word, the word or the two words that precede the what word, which is the investigating or the analysis, right? Which we call here the effect. So if you can see, I said investigating the effect, right? So this tries to explain to us the how aspect. Because the how, when we really say the how, we are saying, how are you going to be conducting the research? Is it going to be a quantitative research, or is it going to be a qualitative research? So your topic on its own, it can spell to us, even it can reveal to the reader if it's going to be a quantitative project or if it's going to be a qualitative project. Like in this case, we normally use the word effect or the word impact when we are doing quantitative studies. So mind you here, we normally use the word impact or the word effect when we are doing what we call quantitative studies. So quantitative studies, these are studies that involve you gathering numerical data, or what we call gathering data in form of numbers, or perhaps what we call, you will be doing a survey or administration of questionnaires. So of course, most of you might be saying, what is Ina talking about? And what, as we go through the module, you will be beginning to see light to say, okay, this is what we meant. But for you, I want you to just understand the part that your topic is supposed to tell us how we are going to do it. So for a quantitative study, we said you're supposed to use the word effect or impact. But let's say you are doing a qualitative study. A qualitative study, you can't use the word impact, because impact is something that is supposed to be expressed in quantitative terms, or in quantitative, as quantitative result. But if you are using, or if you are conducting a qualitative study, you can use the words influence, right? Something like influence is something that you can explain, right? So if you want to use, maybe you want to interact with participants, you want to conduct interviews, and you expect your data to be in the form of explanations. This is supposed to be spelled under your topic. So we expect you to use the words influence, right? Okay, so the variables, that's the third part. What we expect, your topic is supposed to be, to have some variables in it. So the variables, normally you can have more than two, perhaps you can have three or more. But normally we expect your topic to have what we call variables, right? So in this case, my topic reads like investigating the effect of COVID-19 on employee performance. I want you to notice something. Effect of COVID-19, right? That's the first variable. What we really want here is to see what was the effect of COVID-19, right? But it should be effect on something. You cannot just stop by saying investigating the effect of COVID-19, full stop, and you say, I have a research topic. You can't do that, because if you are investigating something, it should be in relation to something else. So in this case, if we say we want to investigate the effect of COVID-19, it should be on something. Like what? On employee performance, or on organizational performance, or on something else, maybe on company turnover, right? So it's supposed to be spelling, your topic is supposed to spell at least two variables. What I mean is, we are supposed to see this is what is being investigated in relation to this. So if you are formulating your topic, mind you, it's supposed to spell at least two variables, right? In this case, it's effect of COVID-19, which is the first variable, on employee performance, which is the second variable, right? So as you can see, I have written below here that COVID-19 is IND. IND means it's an independent variable. So I will not preempt this about independent variables and about moderating variables, and also about the dependent variable. We will talk about that later on. But for now, it's suffice to say we are supposed to know that we are supposed to have at least two variables in our research topic. So whichever topic that you're thinking about, let's say you're thinking about the topic, something to do with motivation. So let's say you want to investigate the influence of motivation, right? But motivation on what? So you're supposed to say, no, I want to investigate the influence of motivation on maybe employees working for company A, B, C, D, right? Or maybe the influence of employee training, right? You want to investigate what is the influence of employee training on what? On organizational productivity. So it's supposed to talk to each other. Your topic is supposed to show us that this is the independent variable, this is the dependent variable, or this is one variable which is being investigated in relation to the other variable. Right, okay, that's the first part. That's the last part, maybe, what I can say about the variables. Okay. Right, let's move on. Let's move on. Right. I think I have clarified here about the topic. As you can see below, I have written investigating the influence of COVID-19 on employee performance. So if it's now influence, it now spells that it's a qualitative study. You can use other words, of course, besides influence. But what I want you to remember is that the word impact and effect normally applies to quantitative studies. If you don't want to do a quantitative study, please don't use those terms, impact and effect. All right. I think I am clear as far as the title is concerned, or the topic, that you're supposed to have your organization, and you're supposed to have the what aspect. Are you investigating and are you analyzing? You're supposed to have the how aspect. Is it going to be quantitative or qualitative by using the terms effect, impact, or influence? Then you're supposed also to have the variables, which we call two terms that are keywords in your topic. If you're talking about maybe employee training, then in relation to what? Organizational performance. If you're talking about COVID-19, in relation to what? Employee performance. If you're talking about, let's say, you're talking about the importance maybe of democratic leadership, right? You want to talk about leadership per se, let's say, yeah? Then if you're talking about democratic leadership, against what? If you're saying the importance of democratic leadership against organizational performance, right? It shows us you are relating this variable to this other variable. So this is what I just wanted to clarify as far as the research title is concerned. So of course, your research title or research topic, all these things that I have spoken about are supposed to be, you're supposed to compress these things so that your research topic or research title normally does have 13 or to 15 words. You can't have a topic which has got 20, 25 words or so. So whatever you're doing, whatever you want to compress, whatever you want to research about, you're supposed to make sure that you compress the title to about, or at most, 13 words. As you can see in mine here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 11 words, right? It can be 11, 12, 13, that's fine, right? Okay, let's now talk about the research objectives. Let's now talk about what we call the research objectives. Right, what are objectives? The first thing is that objectives are what we say pertain to the organization of the study aim, right? So this is what makes the study to work, or what turns the wheels of the study, right? So if you want to bring the study to fruition, or what we call for you to realize your study, you're supposed to have what we call the objectives. Those are important as your milestones, or something that you can measure your study against, right? So for us, we are supposed to create these objectives based on the research title. So if you have a good title, it won't be difficult for you to end up with good research objectives. So the reason why I took time to explain to you what is expected of you in the title is because your title or your topic is going to help you to create what we call the research objectives. Once you have a good title, obviously you're going to have good research objectives. And obviously those research objectives are what is going to guide you maybe in conducting your literature review, is what is going to guide you in setting up maybe your research methodology, is also what is going to guide you in data collection, or even the preparation of the research instrument, be it the interview or be it the questionnaire. Whatever you're going to be using, it all stems from the research objectives. So it's very important for you to pay special attention to your research objectives, right? Okay, so the second point here is that there are specific statements. So your research objectives are supposed to be specific. Basically, we don't want you to write too much things as far as research objectives are concerned. It's supposed to be just something that's specific, right? And defining measurable outcomes. So when I say measurable outcomes here, I mean the variables. It's supposed to specify what are the variables. Remember, we spoke about the variables under the title. I told you we're supposed to have the independent variable and the dependent variable. So as far as the variables are concerned, we know what are those variables. So those variables, we expect to see them under your research objectives as well, right? Then the last part is your research objectives should include the statement recommending solutions to remedy problems, right? Let's say you are talking about the effect of COVID-19 on employee performance. Now you have realized that, of course, COVID-19 has got maybe a significant impact on employee performance or a negative impact on employee performance. Then what? Tell us, what is the end result? What do you intend to do? What is the measure that we are going to take now? Given that you know that COVID-19 has got there's a negative impact as far as employee performance is concerned, then what do you think are the solutions? Remember, a research, actually, when you're doing research, it's a journey. So whatever you're going to be doing, that journey should take you to a destination where you say, oh, I have come to this destination. Now I know what I am supposed to do. You can't do a research and you end up with no solution, or you end up with no destination that you say, okay, this is what I have realized from the research journey. So it's very important for you to now have an objective which will help you as far as realizing the benefits of the study are or is concerned, right? From that topic, which we said, investigating the effect or the influence of COVID-19, let's try to create what we call research objectives. So I have created for you 3 research objectives here. So the first objective was to determine the level of employee performance pre and during COVID-19 at Standard Bank. All right, let me explain myself here. The reason why we have this objective, first of all, remember, let's say you want to conduct an interview, you want to engage participants. You can't just walk into any office, maybe an office perhaps where there are 4 or 5 employees or 1 employee maybe. You say, I am here to conduct a study, right? And you state your name, my name is so and so. The next thing you say, okay, right, we are now on the go. Please tell me the influence of COVID-19 on employee performance here. That's not the way you do it. That's not the way you conduct your study. First of all, you should have preemptive questions, whereby maybe you want to just make the participant more comfortable, whether be it a questionnaire, be it an interview guide. You just want to try and make sure that you create a good environment so that your participant is relaxed, right? And also you ask good questions, maybe to try and direct the participant to the actual important questions for the study. So with that in mind, it's something like you are writing an essay. You have to have an introduction. You just can't jump straight away into the essay. You should give us more like an introduction. So with that in mind, it can help you now that for whatever topic that you have, you should have the opening question or the opening objective should be more like a general objective. So in this case, we were talking about COVID-19 and employee performance. So your general objective, what you can start by asking is to say, okay, can you tell me something about the level of employee performance at this organization? Perhaps before the outbreak of COVID-19 And now that we are in the midst of COVID-19, tell me something about the level of employee performance at this organization. Yes, that your participant is going to say, okay, yes. Before the outbreak of COVID-19, our performance was like this, or the level of employee performance was like this. Now that we are in the midst of COVID-19, the level of employee performance is now like this. So that should be your first objective. You should ask something along those lines, or else you can ask about just the importance of employee performance. Right, okay. Can you tell me something you're asking about, or something what makes you think that employee performance matters at this organization? Why do you think employee performance is important? That's your opening question. So if you can see, I can now bring you back to what I said here. The research objectives are supposed to be specific statements that define measurable outcomes. So I told you that the measurable outcomes in this case are research variables. So as you can see, under my objective number 1, the research variable which we are concentrating on is employee performance. That's the research variable which is of importance to us. So we can ask general questions around that research objective. And normally it should be perhaps the dependent variable. You can play around with the dependent variable because the dependent variable normally is the most important variable, right? Okay, so you might choose to say, okay, no, I want to talk about COVID-19, right? Okay, that's fine. So you can ask general questions pertaining to COVID-19. Okay, but I think I'm clear here as far as what should be one of your opening objectives. It should be a general objective trying to address one of the research variable, right? And also trying to introduce your participants or whosoever is the reader to the main topic or to the most important part of the research. So the second one here, as you can see, straight away we are going to the most important part of the study. So some might think maybe they want to ask 4 research objectives, but I would recommend if you're doing masters or honors, just stick to 3. So as you can see, my second objective is straightly, I derived it straight from the research topic, right? Because my research topic was about influence of COVID-19 on employee performance in Standard Bank. That can be right away my second research objective. Right? Okay, remember the research objective is also including 2 variables, which are COVID-19 and employee performance. Right. The third objective, like I said, that your research journey is supposed to come up with solutions or to give us the remedy to problems. Right. So here, as you can see, the last objective is to recommend to Standard Bank strategies to improve employee performance during COVID-19. So basically it's about, you're trying to recommend now, given that now you know the research objective, you are now trying to come up with recommendations to the organization. Like, so this one is very simple. It's about just trying to address the problem that you have, right? Okay, so as far as the research objectives are concerned, I think this is what I can say for today and the research topic. Are there any questions? Any questions pertaining to the research topic and research objectives?
Can you hear me?
Yes, hi, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Yes, you're welcome.
When it comes to choosing the topics, do I make up my own topics or is there a list where I can choose which topic I want to use?
Okay, I might recommend that, let's say you're doing BBA, right? Administration, isn't it? Or no, let's say you're doing HR, You can go for topics that are related to HR. Let's say you want to talk about employee training and development that's related to HR. You might want to talk about remuneration, right? The importance of maybe something about remuneration that's about HR as well, HR business. You might want to talk about employee motivation. That's also something about HR. Perhaps an interesting topic about HR can be also performance appraisal or something like succession planning, right? So I am trying to give you topics that are related to HR because you're doing HR. But if someone is doing supply chain, they might also think about, okay, something about, let's talk about supply chain partners, right? Something around maybe effectiveness, perhaps, of the logistics, right? Function. If they're doing also maybe, let's say someone is doing which other course, accounting, yeah, accounting. They can talk about something related to accounting. Let's say they want to talk about these issues of sustainability, right? They are also topical, important topics under accounting, whatever sustainability, whatever, or ethics. Let's say you're doing accounting, there are these ethical issues about maybe tax evasion or else whatever unethical practices, what. So you are trying to look for topics that are related to your field of specialty. I don't know if you are answered.
Yes, I was. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, okay. So I am happy if I hear silence. It tells me that you guys were paying special attention. All right. I have just preempted to you how we go about it as far as title or topic formulation is concerned and research objectives. The next important, or maybe the oncoming lectures, in the oncoming lectures, we will be talking about how you formulate your research background, which is what drives you to come up with the research problem. So those areas, we will look at them for those of you who will be joining us, maybe in our next lectures. But otherwise, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your attendance. I will leave this time to James. I don't know, James, if you're there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you guys for coming in today. As I highlighted at the beginning of the lecture, we would like to make this a permanent installment where we meet every Tuesday to go through the research process. Then, like I highlighted, you can come through in the lecture. You have your own topic already, maybe that you have selected, and you want maybe a bit of input or a bit of advice, whether that's a good topic or whatnot we can do to improve it, and etc. So those are some of the things that we'll be trying to help you guys out with. It will be a group class. We'll be discussing as a group, highlighting the advantages, the disadvantages, what you need to do, and etc. to make sure that everything works out well for you in your research process. But the main focus will be on teaching you the research process. How do I conduct the research? How do I ensure that my background is adequate? How do I ensure that my problem statement is relevant, and etc. Like you did today, how do I come up with the correct type of objectives, and etc. Then, as I highlighted at the beginning, the charge is 500 Rand for each stage. So the next stage that we're going to do, starting from next week, is we are going to start on working on the what? On the proposal stage. And that will be what? That will be 500 Rand. And then we go forward. Like I said, we go to chapter 1. Those that want to join in for chapter 1, they pay that 500 Rand, and etc. and etc. Are there any questions for me before we close the lecture for today? Any questions for me? Okay, I trust you're all happy. I will send the link to the group, and those that are interested, you can inbox me and send the proof of payment. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Good night.